Hey there, it's Beth Rosman, and I am here with your intuitive solution and psychic weather report for the full moon here on March 28th, and then going into next week because the energy we're experiencing here this weekend will carry us forward. And I also thought that we'd do some energy clearings too. And we're going to do a little bit of a new technique for the energy clearings this time that I would like to receive your feedback on. But I have a good friend and colleague, and his name is Freddy Silva, and he's a specialist in crop circles and sacred sites, along with many other modalities, and his website's invisibletemple.com. But he has these crop circle cards that he's created, and they're based on sacred geometry. And as you know, my work is actually based in sacred geometry and using the sacred geometry that's around us in its perfect form to reestablish connection to our bodies, in our bodies, to help us feel less stressed out and to ease negative emotion or any kind of sense of anxiety or hurriedness that we might be having. And by looking at a shape of perfection, it helps to instill that balance within us. And so Freddie derived these cards from actual crop circles. They're made to scale, and so therefore they're really a higher consciousness, higher vibrational shape. And before I do these cards, I'm going to actually douse them here in real time for you. But before we do those, I thought I'd offer up another modality for vibrational healing. And this is another card. This card is a Phoenix Vibrational Healing Body Mind Field Complex Empowerment Code card. Oh my goodness, what is that? Essentially, the creator, Fred Payne, made these cards and infused millions of vibratory frequencies and sacred shapes so that when you look at this, and there are words printed on it that actually command that the body mind field complex be fully empowered by you yourself, and that you have control over it. And you can empower yourself over any influence, and it leads to greater awareness, greater successes in your goals by daily or routinely checking into this card or something like it, a tool like it. And by tuning in to this card that has frequencies that transcend space and time. Again, this is all vibrational and frequency. So therefore, it's possible to transcend the limits of physicality and time, so that if you're looking at this video at any time, at any point in the future or any time, you'll be able to receive the benefits of the clearing process we're going to go through. And we are in a time of the full moon. It's a big super full moon. It's very close to the earth, closer than it will be this year. And that gives a greater pull on the tides, the earth plates, tectonics. And of course, we live on the earth. We're beings of the earth. So we might be feeling some heightened stress or background anxiety amongst some of the positivity we're also feeling. But I think this empowerment code card will lead us into then the clearing we're going to do with the crop circle cards. So we're going to empower us over this whole process and this whole clearing and this whole video. And simply, I'm going to activate this for you now. Anybody watching it at any given time for only their highest and best code program to activate it. And now, with your will and intention, focus on this card. I'm going to hold it to the camera and simply breathe in through the mouth and out through the nose. And that's an integrative breath. When you're breathing in through the mouth, you're breathing it in and letting it out through the nose. And let's do that for that one more time, that third time. In through the mouth and out through the nose. I'll put this down now. And how are you feeling? Maybe a little bit more grounded in your space? I hope so. And just take a few moments to be aware and breathing and ready for this clearing. We'll be moving forward to with the crop circles. And these are sacred geometry codes. Essentially, they look like that. They're beautiful shapes. And I've worked with these with numerous cases and people, and they've many of them, almost nearly all of them, have experienced instantaneous and or long-term benefits of many varieties. And again, I give credit to my friend Freddy Silva for developing them. And I've attuned a new like a process. I use them for my people, and I think they could be used in many ways. For our purposes tonight, I am going to douse the three that, in order of priority, that those listening or hearing and being here collectively at any given time, the three that in order of priority will most benefit us. I'll put myself in this too, because I haven't done one of these today. So let's just come along with my process here. So I've got the deck, and I'm a professional dowser, muscle tester. And I just douse the deck. And I will say the cards, three in order of priority, and I'm going to douse those now. I've got my first card here. Put that there. Okay, the second card. Okay, I've got the three cards. So before I turn them over, I want to let you know that they will be working together to form the clearing that, in order of priority, we all need to navigate these times. It's an intuitive solution for anything we're experiencing at this time. Many of us have a lot of tools we use, whatever that may be, you can think of it. So this is another more unusual way of inviting in calm and wellness and peace of mind, and maybe better sleep and less anxiety and calmer emotions, because there's a lot of emotions going on right now with this big super moon. The moon is emotions. Libra is balance, and there's a striving to be a balanced in our emotions, while we also have these trines. We have a grand air trine with right now going on with Moon and Saturn, and it's also that we're getting bombarded with great ideas too. And there's a lot of high frequency things going on. We just want to be able to have the groundedness to be able to maximize those for our highest and best. So when I did these cards, and after reading all of the astrological aspects and the new cycles beginning with spring and the Venus cycle of a new 8-year beginning. Venus has an 8-year cycle with the sun. And as of this month, Venus is starting a new cycle. So think of where you were 8 years ago in 2013. And it's this whole new building of the passions in your life. And then in 2017, it culminated, and then it came to fruition here now. And then we're starting a whole new Venus cycle. We're starting a spring cycle. And there's a lot of forward movement right now. For the very first time in a very long time, none of our planets are in retrograde. So everything's moving forward. And so there's a bit of a quickness going on, which can cause some high anxiety, high energy. And this will be a very forward moving type of energy all through the rest of March and into April. And it's a time when we are inside of our hearts and our minds formulating new plans for ourselves. And it's very much a time where we can go within, but go within the heart to establish what feels really good for that new awareness that we're bringing in, that new time period. And knowing that we're creators, knowing that we can envision this with our hearts and our minds and have mental alchemy to change the physical reality to what we need it to be. And with this time period, with the new gamma rays and neutrons coming into the earth and our bodies from the central sun, Alcyone, we're really getting upgraded. Our DNA is enlightening. Our strands are reuniting. And whether we know it or not, it's happening. And we can choose to ignore it or choose to use it for our highest and best in all of our lives. So that's my goal. And that's why I started to do these for you guys, all of us. It helps me too. I did a lot of other explorations with the energy updates for the moment. But I think that you guys want this crop circle clearing, and I feel like it's time. So here's how we do it. These are sacred geometry codes, and they will focus on, you might focus on a trouble you're having, or a pain, or a relationship, or a goal that you would like to bring in. And just know that your higher self will tune into these beautiful shapes of perfection. And perfection is all in our bodies, in this cosmos, in this earth. We're meant to be in states of perfection. Just tune into these visual images as you like, and you'll integrate these with an in-breath through the mouth and an out-breath through the nose, and you'll do that several times. I haven't looked at these myself yet. I'm going to hold them up one at a time. And the first one is this. I'm going to hold this up to the camera in front of my face and just simply breathe that in. I'm doing this with you. In through the mouth, out through the nose 3 times. Now we're going to activate this shape within your body, mind, feel complex. Activate it within all that you are, that you're thinking about. Now do an in-breath through the nose, out-breath through the mouth. 3 times. In through the nose, out through the mouth as it integrates fully into your field. Empowering you over it now. Thank you, Creator. What a beautiful shape. That was an actual crop circle that occurred. And Freddy Silva has actually written a book called Secrets in the Fields that decodes some of these. So I will give you some guidance there if you have more interest. He's a wealth of information. The second card I got for us is this card, and these are another crop circle that happened. Beautiful piece of sacred geometry, and simply to integrate this now, this is part of our clearing process. We're integrating this now in through a breath of the mouth and out through the nose 3 times. In through the mouth, out through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the nose, in through the mouth and out through the nose. And now we'll integrate this now and activate this shape fully within your body, mind, feel complex and all that you are. Now breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. This is an activation breath. Thank you, Creator of all that is. And for those of you who are muscle testers or dowsers, you may ask, this shape is fully and completely appropriately integrated in my field for my highest and best to a level of 100%. I got a yes. And you can also douse with your body, a yes like this, or your eyes, or feeling go forward, or even a pendulum. And then we have one more crop circle here that we're going to integrate as part of our clearing process. And it's a very unusual shape. I don't interpret them at this point. I would know. I'm wondering, okay, what is that? Again, secrets in the fields. And I'm actually studying this and creating explanations for them. In the meantime, though, we don't need to know their exact meaning or the whys. The left brain wants to know why. I want to know why. I love my left brain. I love to be mental. But for this moment, we're doing clearings on our very sometimes illogical, abstract, right brain, spiritual, emotional bodies to assist us in balancing these times and helping us deal with the new and letting go of the old. So that's how these are tuned right now, and that's what we're accomplishing. And so as we did with the other 2 cards, we're going to in-breath this with our mouth, in through the mouth and out through the nose. One more time, in through the mouth, out through the nose. In breath through the mouth and out through the nose. And now we're going to activate these codes within your field. In through the nose, out through the mouth. If you feel yourself getting dizzy, just drink some water. Okay, good. Great. So now that we've done these clearings, we've become new people. We've become a vibrationally more uplifted body of energy. So we're going to re-empower ourselves over all that we are. And this, again, we'll have this empowerment code card from Phoenix Vibrational Healing. And we're going to go in through the mouth, integrate it, out through the nose 3 times to integrate your new changes. This may help you feel better. You may sleep better. You might feel an unusual sense of wellness. You might feel an easing of body tension. You might just have someone you haven't heard from a while call you. It's just simply reactivating your power as a person, reinstilling that integrity and that sovereignty we have as beings. Because right now the energies are high. As I mentioned, we're very activated with this full moon. It's a Libra full moon, which is an air sign. And there's so many other, really so many other aspects going on. And then we have Easter in 1 week on April 4th. And I love Easter because it's one of the only holidays we still celebrate that's calibrated by a pagan calendar. It's always on the full moon, which is after the spring equinox. And so we have the spring equinox, and then we have a full moon, and the next Sunday that follows that is Easter. And so, of course, today is 10/28/21, and the full moon will be exact in Libra, 8 degrees of Libra at 11:38 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And it's just a wonderful time to do a clearing ceremony from your home, work with relationships. There's some caution about being very clear with relationships because there is a Mercury conjunct Neptune influence. Mercury is planet of communication. Conjunct is a fairly favorable aspect, but it's with Neptune in the underworld of water. And Mercury and Neptune don't exactly get along that well because Mercury likes clear, delineated truth. And Neptune is very watery. And it's almost like when you're a fish, you're swimming through the water circuitously. And the information is not always clear coming down from the surface. The rays of sunlight come in sort of murky. So while it could be a wonderful time to tap into our imaginations, excuse me, and new ideas, just realize that there might be a little bit of illusion and questioning going on. And so I also did some runes for us about what's coming up for the week ahead or the time period ahead. I did 4. I've got the rune of Signals and New Beginnings on Sue's, and I got the rune of Fertility. Well, it's actually the rune of the Harvest, but which results in fertility. It's called Jera. It's the rune of the Earth and harvesting. This is Perth, radical breakthrough, sudden changes, sort of like a Neptunian connection with the spiritual side of big changes going on in life. And speaking of big changes, I got the rune of the blank rune, which is the ultimate rune of change and unexpectedness. But it is blank because we can make it whatever we need it to be. And there's power in that. It's the all, but the nothing. And so with this rune, 4 runes, it's about new beginnings. We've got Ansu's, which is the very beginning of all the cycle runes. So it's new beginnings, listening to messages, being very aware, understanding that this could be a time of radical change to the foundation of your bedrock. And it's all open to you. You are the creator, and our powers of creation are growing, and having patience. This is the rune of harvest, of the farmer who waits for her seeds to come into fruition and has patience while they grow, and knowing that there is a cycle in everything. As I mentioned with that Venus cycle earlier, that new 8-year cycle beginning, and really so many cycles with the moon and the new spring coming. And there's one other area I explored that I thought would be fun. I also look at the Mayan calendars, and it's the ancient Tzolk'in calendar of Mesoamerica. And I looked at it for starting today, Sunday. And so the Mesoamerican calendar of the Tzolk'in has basically 260 days. And there are 20 day signs and 13 numbers within that. It's very balanced. It's very numerological. But starting with Sunday, the 28th, the day sign is 7, which is the halfway point. With 13 is their numerology, 1 through 13. So 7 is the midpoint between all of that. Very much like the Libra full moon of balance, about midpoint, establishing balance. 7 is a neutral number. It can really be whatever you need it to be. It's like a powerful purging of the old, but planning for the new. And as well, with that 7, you have an amazing ability to create, just like with the full moon. It's a really good time to announce your intentions. And then the Mayan energies for Monday, 3/29/21, the number 8 is their Mayan numerology, and it's the energy of birth and completion, just like these cycles we're going through. And it connects us to timelessness. And the day sign is about completion and completing something you started, much like the harvest. And there's also a greater energy to move forward, just like I think we're feeling the spring energy. And it's easier to figure out where we're going to be going and to stay open for that. And to really tap into that energy, knowing that if we feel fear or anxiety, it might be because of some of the earth magnetics. For example, I follow the NASA space weather, and right now we are in a really high magnetic time of it's KP4 and 5 this next coming few days, which there's just more electromagnetic energy bombarding us, causing maybe a little bit more emotions, intensity, anxiety. I mean, it's very extreme. It could cause internet problems or communications, but it's important to stay positive, especially as we manifest on the full moon. But then going into 3/30/21, the number 9 is the number. It's very positive, and it's ruled by Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god. And it's about raw life force being available. And it's also about storms and high winds too. So there's, again, more potential for maybe earth changes and storms. And then we're also going into a Scorpio full moon, the waning full moon from Libra. It'll transition to the underworld of Scorpio. And that is pretty much the summary of what we have. It is a time of high intensity, high emotions, but yet we feel a hearkening of new beginnings, and knowing if there's any anxiety on the peripheral, the fringes, we have the tools to deal with it. We can have our intuitive solutions, our meditations, our friends, our relationships. It's so important to be in nature right now with this Libra time and the spring and upcoming Easter and rebirth. So it's a wonderful time to announce your new intentions. And I have certainly loved having you here with me tonight as we do these updates. I love it that you're here with me, and I encourage you to subscribe and share with your friends. And I would love to hear how these forces are working for you, what you're experiencing. I think it's all about research, what we all experience and share together. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Happy full moon. Take care.